Wir haben heute die Gelegenheit, mit Alain Bureau zu sprechen, Präsident und CEO von Pershimco Resources, die das Projekt Cerro Quema in Panama entwickeln. Er ist gerade aus Panama zurück und fliegt schon in ein paar Tagen wieder runter zum Projekt. Deshalb konnten wir kurz mit ihm sprechen. Herr Bureau, welcome. It's been a while since we last talked, March, I think. A lot has happened with the company, with the resources markets overall. But perhaps you could give our audience just a short overview of what you have achieved in the last 3 months.
Yes, thanks, Jordan. Thanks for having me again on the show. Yes, it's been since March. We've progressed a lot since then. But I think the most important point that we've been able to reach and the most important milestone for the kind of project we're developing right now is have a successful public audience. So we've been able to introduce the project to the whole communities, to the government. Very, very good reception. It's part of the permitting process, so that's one of the big achievements we've been able to have. And on top of this, we've been able to achieve a good $7 million financing, which is pretty challenging in this kind of a market. So we've been able to have the backup of our major shareholders and a few other good shareholders that came on board.
That's great. So now you've got an interim financing for what are you planning to do with this $7 million you raised?
Yeah, this $7 million will principally, majorly go into all the permitting sequence and the detail engineering. So we're in a phase where we're ready to go on the construction, which should begin right at the beginning of January 2016, and our objective is to bring this into production by the end of the year 2016. So all the detail engineering needs to be done, and also some of the drilling requires to be finished. So it's a good combination in between going towards the permitting into drilling and detail engineering.
Okay, interesting. But when you say you want to be in production by the end of 2016, there's a major hurdle before that. That's the project financing, or the financing for building the mine, which is another thing altogether than raising money for work on the project. How confident are you that you're going to achieve this in time and with good conditions?
Yes, we've been on the road quite a lot in Europe, also in Canada and the States. We've had on the debt side a lot of contact with different banks, different groups that are specialized into mining financing, and the opportunity is there. So there's a lot of doors that are open on the debt side, and I think what makes Pershimco story so appealing is we do have some major shareholders that are sticking to the story. They like what they've seen, they've been to the project recently, and they're ready to sign more checks. So the combination of having good access to the debt and at the same time having those great shareholders is the combination of us making it possible. It's a very, very challenging environment, as you said. What is important is make sure you take care of your existing shareholders. They're on board, they're okay with management decisions, and that's what will bring this project forward.
Okay, of course, a major factor with this first phase of the project, let's say, the gold oxides, is the price of gold. It's still somehow in the range of 1,170 to 1,220 US per ounce. But at the moment it looks more like there's some downward risk. How would that, or is that affecting the company, or might be affecting the company in the future?
Yes, the advantage of the project is we have a very, very low all-in sustaining cash cost of $631. That makes it, one of the lowest heap leach operation in South America. Makes us very competitive. Also, the other factor is we used for the whole project in terms of calculating all our return on investment, a price of $12.75. We still think in 1 year from now the gold price will recover. We're still pretty confident that that we're going through, yes, a tough time, but that's not going to be permanent. So we'll see gold price going back up. There's a lot of different, and I will not go into all these details. There's guys that are paid to go through all the different loops and why the gold price is where it is, but we can see in general out there that this situation with Greece and Europe in general is building up, and I think that's going to give a little bit of a break and will allow the gold price to go higher.
So you're confident that also in the longer term the gold price will not stay on these depressed levels?
Exactly. So we're ready to go for the first pour in December 2016. So that'll bring us into being in full production by 2017. By then, gold price should have recovered, and we should be at a nice level. Even at today's level, even if we would be producing at 1150, we would still make a good money on the production, being at $631 all in.
Okay, that's good to know, and that's also a nice cushion to have. A lot of other companies don't have that. But what we didn't talk about is that the gold project really is only a step on the way. There's other targets, I think, or gold oxide targets where you could increase the resource at the project, but really then you're going after a much bigger target.
Exactly. We've been working very hard in the last 4 months in testing those new oxide targets, by mapping and also picking up some samples. All these samples came back with good results. So we have a pretty defined good maps that we're going to be starting to drill those new targets. So adding new pits to the whole operation, and we've started with obviously the targets that are close to our existing surfaces where we're going to have the operation. That means close to the plant, close to the heap leach facilities. So we do have about another 10 targets that needs to be added to that oxide package. And as you said, the oxide package really will give us a cash flow to keep developing the sulfide packages, which looks much bigger with the discovery of these new intrusives that are popping out at surface. We've done also a lot of mapping on base metal. Everything shows that yes, the porphyry is somewhere around there, but there's also a lot of potential into the sulfide copper gold system within our concession. So very, very interesting in terms of project. I've seen many of these types of project where, basically it's only the tip of the iceberg. When you hit those very nice oxide packages and deep down, you get some great results and great resource.
Okay, that sounds certainly interesting. We'll be in contact in the future to see how you're doing. Thank you.
Thanks, Jordan, and have a good summer.
Thank you. You too.